What's up, everybody, and welcome to episode 70. 70 fucking episodes, man, of Snakes and the Fat Man. I have a couple of questions for anyone trying to run a business in the reptile industry. Do you ever feel like you're held back by a dated or detailed image? Are you sick of competing on price or convincing people to buy your fucking animals? Are you ready for a change but not sure where to start? Stewart Design guides ambitious companies to discover and share their meaningful difference and empowers them to reach their greatest potential. If you've been listening to me for a while, you probably know my man Blake Stewart at Stewart Design. If not, I'm certain you've seen the waves they're making within the industry. They've worked with the biggest and baddest players in the game. Stewart Design rebranded ball python extraordinaire Justin Kabilka over at Canova. They also created the brands for Amos Reptiles, my boy Zach Nava, Garrett Hartle with Reach Out Reptiles, as well as many, many more. Not to mention the rebranding and all the work that Blake has donated to USARK just because of his love for the industry. Stewart Design helps take that dumpster fire shit of a logo you drew in Microsoft Word to a whole new level. Get your big boy pants on because this isn't a game. There are literally thousands of breeders and more coming out every day. So how the fuck will you stand out at Tinley or on MorphMarket or at Daytona? Why should anyone buy anything from you when there are literally thousands of other dickheads out there selling the same stuff? If you want to run a real business and not some part-time fucking hobby, you have to stand out and look the goddamn part. If you give a shit about your business and want other people to give a shit about it, get a hold of Blake Stewart over at Stewart Design. Stewart Design is a professional branding agency. Just check out their website to see the list of major national and international awards that they've won. And besides creating kick-ass logos, Stewart Design also designs and prints everything you need to crush your next show, so you don't look like another fucking reject. Business cards, stickers, flyers, table covers, banners, you name it, they got it. Visit sdidentity.com or email info@sdidentity.com to learn more. That's info@sdidentity.com to get started. Now, there's something I want to talk about that's been on my mind the last few days, probably a little bit longer, but world's firsts. Do they matter anymore? I mean, is it fun? Sure, I guess it's fun. If you think it's fun to be the first guy to take two animals that are the exact same species and put them in a tub, and a couple of months later you get the exact same animal just with a different paint job, and you were the first one to do it, sure, Sure, I guess it's still cool in that regard. But just remember, unless you're Justin or Ozzy or one of the other bigger guys, nobody gives a shit, right? I mean, you know, except with the fact that maybe they'll try to buy it off you. I mean, who gives a fuck if you produce the first GHI Ultramel Confusion Clown in the industry? I mean, do you remember who produced the first albino Mojave pinstripe 15 years ago? No, because no one cares. Now, is it fun to chase something? Yeah, sure, I guess. Does it hurt anyone to see world's first on an Instagram post or a Facebook post? Of course not. Do I think people are going to stop doing this? No, definitely not. However, there are 3 things that I would like to see stop. 1, if you happen to put together these basic bitch jeans like Mojave, Pinstripe, Lesser, Phantom, you do not have a world's first powerhouse animal. Even if you do get an all-gene animal with your fucking basic 2012 jeans, no one cares. You fucking people look like idiots announcing to the masses that you have the world's first banana vanilla fire pinstripe. The fuck out of here. Number 2, if you're not positive that your dumb little ball python crawling out of the egg is a world's first, then don't announce it as one. Wait. You know what? Scratch that. Keep doing this. There's nothing funnier than watching some fucking white trash doofus announce that he has a world's first, only to be contested by another piece of white trash that says that he produced the same dumb animal 3 months prior to that. Also, to all you fucking morons positive IDing a snake in the egg 30 seconds after you cut it, shut the fuck up. You sound like a fucking idiot. Number 3, let's say you're lucky enough to produce a monarch puzzle stranger, right? That's a world's first, right? If somebody else produces a monarch puzzle stranger het desert ghost, that is not a world's first. Gotta be a visual, man. Just wait until you produce the first monarch puzzle stranger desert ghost visual. Then you could fucking pat yourself on the back about doing a world's first. Now, obviously, these are only my opinions, and I don't need a bunch of emails from the white trash contingent of breeders telling me how wrong I am about any of this. I don't give a fuck. Now, you know where you can find a bunch of badass, legitimate ball python powerhouses? And a ton of other fucking badass, cool species of reptiles? Herp shows, baby. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's talk herps. What we got going on in the next couple of months over there at the Herps Exotic Reptile and Pet Shows. This last Sunday, they were doing the one-day Conroe show because of the Trump rally, so I will let you guys know how that turned out. But on February 26th and 27th, they're going to be in Corpus Christi, Texas. Then on March 5th and 6th, they're going to be in New Orleans, Louisiana. March 12th and 13th, they're at Bryan, College Station, Texas. Then on April 2nd and 3rd, they're in Slidell, Louisiana. April 9th and 10th, they're in Beaumont, Texas. April 16th and 17th, they're in Temple, Texas. April 23rd and 24th, they're in Austin, Texas. May 14th and 15th, they're in Amarillo, Texas. Look at that. They're back in Louisiana, in Lafayette on June 4th and 5th, and then they're back in Conroe on July 11th and 12th. If you guys want to know more, just go to herpshow.net. Tell Sean and Lori what a fucking awesome job they're doing and how they're just crushing it, just putting on clinics on how shows should be done across the country. Boom. It's the first video ad in Snakes in the Fat Man history. Look at it. Look at it. That right there is the best coconut substrate on the fucking planet. Look at this right here. This is also the best coconut substrate on the fucking planet, but it's in a bag. Now this right here is the best coconut chip on the fucking planet. However, it's in a bigger bag. brick, small bag, bigger bag, whatever. Raptor Chip is hands down the best substrate for your reptiles. It's the only substrate I actually use here at the Fat Cave. Why? Because it's the best coconut substrate on the fucking planet, and I've been using it for years. And JT Tomlinson, one of my very best good friends, is the president of the company. Want to know something else that JT started? The Reptilution apparel company that gives 100% of the profits it receives back to the reptile community. There's always people and organizations in this hobby in need of some kind of help, and Reptilution is being proactive in giving to USARK, Herb's Family Fund, anybody in the community that experienced some kind of tragedy. JT, Raptor Chip, and Reptilution is there for them. You see anybody else being proactive like this? Let me answer that for you. No, you don't. Head on over to RaptorChip.com and pick up a bag, a block, a brick, a box even. They're doing boxes. Boxes of Raptor Chip now. Pick up a Reptilution shirt if you're feeling sexy. A lot of fun stuff. They got it all there. Redline Science, tools, shit scrapers. They got everything. It's a one-stop shop, man. You can buy your reptile shit and clothes. Same place. Go buy a brick, a bag, box, a shirt, whatever. Just get on it. RaptorChip.com. All right, so we got a little hometown for you here on this episode's 15 Minutes of Lame. A New York brother who now lives in Florida, but he's still got that fucking Bronx swag about him. I love this guy. Been a great friend to the show. Victor Laureano of J Baby's Reptiles, killing it on this week's 15 Minutes.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Snakes in the Batman proudly brings to you its new breeder segment, 15 Minutes of Lame!
Hey guys, it's Justin at Canova. So in the past few years, Canova's become the top source for amazing ball pythons. Now Chris tells me, Justin, it's time to give back. So we're sponsoring the 15 Minutes of Lame to support the new and upcoming breeders. So jump in here. Let's hear your ideas. Let's hear your thoughts. Maybe you can turn your 15 minutes of lame into 20 years of lame, just like I did. If you want to be the man, you got to beat the man. So bring it.
15 Minutes of Lame!
All right, everybody. I got Victor Laureano. Yeah, Victor with me. I got Victor with me from J Baby's Reptiles. What's up, brother? How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. How you doing, Chris?
Good, man. I'm just fucking plugging away trying to make shit happen. You know how it is.
Yeah, of course.
Victor is actually a personal friend of mine. He's been a supporter of the show. He comes on the Zoom calls like fucking damn near every time we have him. And I'll be honest, I should have had Victor on last year. And I apologize to Victor for taking this long to have him on the show, but you're here now, so let's see what you got, all right?
Yeah, sure. Let's do it.
All right, so you know how this works. I'm going to put 15 minutes on the clock starting now, and let's just talk about the name a little bit. J Baby's Reptiles.
Mm-hmm.
Where does the name come from?
Well, Chris, as you know, as I spoke on the Zoom calls, I'm married. I got 4 kids, and each of the kids starts with the letter J. And those were my wife's J Babies. So that's the name that I went with. And she loved it, and it just stuck.
I'm going to give you a 7 on the name because it's not just Laureano Reptiles, which I love, okay? But, you know, it's named for children, so I'm definitely not a big fan of that. So
that's okay.
You get a solid 7, but J Baby's
That's
Reptiles
cool. I'll take it.
is a lot better than some of the other people that we've had on here. So you do colubrids mostly, right?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Hondurans and Pueblans.
Okay. And what brought you into that? Like why are you not doing ball pythons like every other fucking person in the country?
I actually have a couple of ball pythons, and I want to play around with those as well. But colubrids is where my heart's at.
Well, colubrids, it's such a different process too, right? As far as breeding them and raising them up.
Yes,
Yeah, it's
they're not like ball pythons. You feed them once and they poop whenever. Colubrids, you feed them once, they can poop 3 or 4 times in a week.
yeah, it's like you're always cleaning. It's like,
Yes.
and you work a lot. Okay,
Mm.
so do the J babies help out with the fucking snakes, man?
My youngest daughter does. Jasmine, she does.
Okay, all right.
I try
Well,
to get the other ones in. One got bit by a snake trying to clean the water bowl after I done fed it, and he didn't like the experience.
yeah, but how much does a colubrid bite hurt?
No, this was from a ball python.
Oh, yeah. Well, still, I mean, that's a little bit.
I
You
felt
gotta
real
tell them.
bad. I should have been there.
Nah, you gotta tell them to man up and take it. Okay, take that shit, man. Um, so now, what got you into colubrids? Like you're a New Yorker,
Yes, I
and
am.
you end up in Florida. Okay,
Hmm.
and w- I mean, there's not a lot of colubrids fucking just roaming around Arthur Avenue or 125th Street in the Bronx. Like fucking where, like what made you think, man, these colubrids could definitely make me some money?
I didn't actually think about breeding them until I recently moved down here to Florida. I used to collect colubrids back in New York when I was a teen. I had a
Okay,
couple when I was in high school, and eventually I had to give them up because I wasn't taking care of them. I was living with my grandmother while my colubrids were back home with my mom, and she was like, "Listen, you need to do something with these." So I had to
mm,
take them and sell them. And
okay,
I didn't get back into colubrids again until I was recently married.
okay. And what while you were in Florida?
No, no, no. Actually, before I moved to Florida, my wife allowed me to get
Oh my
one
God, you
snake.
started that all wrong.
Yes.
Oh, okay, you just started that all wrong. My wife allowed me.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. Unfortunately, I'm one of those let me ask my wife first type things.
oh,
Yes.
oh my God, ball python people hate you already. Okay.
That's
Uh,
okay.
okay. Continue.
So we went to a Repticon back in 2012, I want to say, and it was out in Long Island. And my daughter got a black and white tegu. My son got a pixie bullfrog, and she was like, "You can get a snake." And I saw this one snake. I didn't know what it was at the time. They described it as a Pueblan. Later found out it was actually a Pueblan Nelson crossbreed, and it sold it for $25, and I was hooked. I was like, I want to get more of these.
Okay. And really though, is there money in breeding colubrids?
There
I
can
I
be, there
I know
can
it's
be,
not
but
like ball pythons, but
there can be money produced by them. It's just you just have to have the right clientele. And fortunately for me, I got a whole bunch of friends that are into colubrids as well, especially down here in Florida.
mhm.
So we'll trade. I'll sell a couple here and there. It doesn't really pay the bills much, like everyone thinks, but it's more of a passion than anything else.
Okay, so you're basically doing it because you like doing it.
Yes, I'm
Oh, okay,
hoping that it will take off one day, and I can make an actual income on this and
all
support my
right.
family. But I'm just being, I'm just trying to live the dream.
Yeah, yeah. Well, but you're also trying to be realistic about it, right?
Yes, that too.
You Um, now there's so many fucking rules down there in Florida, and do the rules affect the colubrids too?
No, not yet, but they can change because once these laws get into play, as far as with the pythons, they're not going to stop with that. They're going to continue on with everything.
Right. Now, are you do you have inspections that you have to have done
Um,
every year, like the
I
ball
can't
python
have
people?
an inspection. I have to apply for a class 3 license in order to sell, trade, or display my animals.
Okay. So that's at shows, right?
No, that's actually at my house.
At your
An
house.
inspector from FWC can come to my house at any time throughout the year and want to see what I have. And I have
Okay.
to open my doors to them.
So do you have to register every snake?
I have to register every species of snake I have.
Okay. But you could have 100 of one or
Yes,
10 of one, and it doesn't matter.
it doesn't matter.
Oh, okay. All right. And have they ever raided you yet, or
No,
came to
not
inspect?
yet. Thank God.
Okay. Well, now normally I ask people, like, why should they buy from you? But I don't really know a lot of colubrid dealers,
That's
right?
okay. I
So,
got an answer for that too.
yeah. All right. What's your answer? Why should people buy from you?
Well, as in the wise words of Tony Montana,
Mm.
I have my word and my balls, and I don't break them for no one.
Uh, All
So where
right.
can I drop the mic? Can I drop it now?
What's that?
Can I drop the mic now?
Yeah, yeah. No, no. Normally you would save that to the end. You're Puerto Rican. You should know that. All right.
Oh, okay.
Save that to the end. The mic drop. All right. Um,
Oh
fucking
man.
crazy, man. Now, let's just talk some sponsors real quick. Do you use Raptor Chip?
No, I do not.
Man, Raptor Chip says fuck you, Victor. Okay?
I'll just save you just time. I don't sponsor anything that you have, Chris.
Oh, all of my sponsors are just giving a collective fuck you to
No, not
Laureano.
necessarily. I can't afford it right now. So I'm just living within my means.
Okay, but you could afford a fucking brick of Raptor Chip if you needed. But
Yes,
I
I could. If I
but
needed to, yes, I would.
I
They
don't
just
know
don't I don't
how.
think they sell down here in Florida.
I actually don't know if they do. They probably do.
I know per se they have another brand called Pro Coco.
Yeah, yeah. We don't talk about that. All right. What are you doing? What is this?
I'm
Your
just
first
telling
name?
you what it is, Chris,
All
down
right.
here.
Fuck that Pro Coco bullshit. Okay. Pro Coco is the worst coconut substrate on the planet. I really don't know if that's true or not, but I'm just saying. Not saying nothing, but just saying. Do you use MorphMarket at all?
No, I do not. I would like to.
Okay.
I'm not computer savvy to learn how to work, how to sell on different websites. I just use word of mouth, and I go to local reptile shows, and that's how I get around.
You're really sucking the will to live right out of me. Do you
Sorry,
know that
Chris.
right now, Victor? You're really just fucking killing me. Um, so all right. Yes, collective fuck you for my sponsors to Victor, but what are you gonna do?
No
And
disrespect.
no, I understand, and I respect your reasoning behind it. So because honestly, you're a colubrid breeder anyway. I don't know dick about colubrids, right? Like I know less than nothing. I don't even know like corn snake and milk snake, same thing.
They are not really. Though they are colubrids, one won't eat another snake. The milk snake, or perhaps a king snake that the milk snakes are, will eat another snake.
Okay, so do you do corn snakes or no?
I started out with corn snakes.
Okay.
I bred my first set of corn snakes back in 2018. I
Well,
produced 2 clutches.
and they get bigger too, right?
They can get there. They could get up to 5, 6 feet if possible.
Right. Okay. So you said that you're doing everything word of mouth. So you're not a show guy, obviously.
No,
I
not
mean,
yet.
you go to shows, you just don't
I
vend
do.
at shows. Okay. And so really in Florida, I know what you're stuck with most of the year.
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, you're stuck with that fucking aluminum siding company. So fucking, I don't even know how you do it. But do you go to the bigger shows like the national shows?
I would love to go to one of the bigger shows.
Okay.
It's just my time won't allow me to do so.
Well, right, because I notice whenever you're at the Zoom call, you're normally at work.
Hmm.
Um, now, have you ever been to Daytona?
No, I was trying to go this year, actually last year. Unfortunately, I had COVID, so that,
Oh,
stopped me
Christ.
from going.
Right. Okay. Um, yeah. I mean, Daytona is like at least fun. Now, how far are you from Daytona?
About 3, 4 hours.
Oh, man, that's the thing about Florida, right? You could drive fucking 6 hours and still be in Florida, right? So,
Yeah, actually,
uh,
it takes me about 4 hours to get out of Florida into Georgia.
Jesus Christ. Okay. So where in Florida are you?
I'm in Wesley Chapel, which is approximately 30 minutes north of Tampa.
Okay, so you're on the west side
Yes,
of Florida. Okay. All right. So you're around like well
I'm
you
maybe
wouldn't.
about an hour away from Jeremy Bod.
Okay. All right, gotcha. Okay. And I think you're close to Ken Masick too.
Oh,
Um
okay.
but they're ball python people. So now how many ball pythons do you have versus how many colubrids?
I actually downsized my collection of ball pythons. I'm down to six right now.
Okay.
3 males, 3 females.
Okay.
Um, Last year I had 4 clutches. Females laid 4 clutches, and each clutch just went to perish. They just went to the trash,
Really?
and I had to take ownership of that. That was my fault.
Oh, man.
So it made me sit back and think, what do I really want to work with? What do I want to do? What path I want to follow? So um, luckily, I found a mentor who lives maybe about an hour away from me. And he said, we're going to work this out. We're going to figure out what you did wrong. And next year, you're going to have a better season.
Okay. You want to shout out your mentor?
Yeah, David Cook.
David.
He lives
Okay.
up in Apopka.
Okay. And what's his company?
He doesn't have one right now, but he's been working with all kinds of snakes, colubrids, pythons for over 30 years.
Okay. All right. Well, that's at least good that you're giving another shot at it. Although I would not recommend like the ball python. So, you know me. Um, now, how many colubrids do you have?
Altogether,
Yeah.
I have 8 adult pairs, and I have about 14 babies, or
Okay.
hatchlings, rather.
So you got about 30 altogether.
Yes.
Okay. And you knew this was coming. How much have you put into it since you started doing this?
I want to say roughly around 10 to 15,000.
Man, ball python people would suck your dick to fucking that to know that you only got away with putting in $15,000 into fucking snakes. Now, here's the other question: how much money have you made back?
Less than 1,000, I'll say that much.
Jesus Christ, it's just as bad. It's
Yeah,
just as bad as ball pythons.
yeah.
It might actually be a little bit worse, to be honest with you. Uh, Holy shit. Um, all right. I guess, man, you don't even know what to say when somebody says they put in 15,000 and they maybe made back 1,000. How long have you been doing it?
This will be my 5th year.
Oh man, you're not helping your case any. Okay,
No,
right. So
it's all trial and error, man.
theoretically, you make about 74 cents a day. Um, there are children in China making iPads that earn more than you. Okay. Um, now, now, obviously, you're still building this up, and the thing
Yeah.
that I like about you, oh, whoa, you're done now, fucking all over this. But I'm going to ask you this other question because you're my friend. Obviously, you're doing this because you just fucking love doing it, right? So,
Yes.
what would make you stop right now,
What would
or
make me
or
stop?
yeah, or are you unstoppable? You're going to take
Oh
this
no,
to the
I'm not
next level no
unstoppable
matter what.
because last year was the proof. Because last year, with the kick in the teeth that I had, I wanted to just call it quits, and I just said no. I just had to stop, take a breath, and just refocus. And then I'm just going to keep pursuing and keep pressing on.
I actually think that that's awesome, my friend, because it shows tenacity. And dude, you're fucking Puerto Rican from the Bronx. You gotta have tenacity, right? It's like fucking. If you just gave up last year, I would have had you on just to call you a fucking pussy. Okay,
Yeah,
so I'm glad that you didn't give up, man.
no,
Uh,
not at all.
Well, how could people get in touch with you, man?
I'm on Instagram and Facebook at jbabiesreptiles.com. I mean, jbabiesreptiles on Facebook, j_babies_reptiles on Instagram, or Facebook, Victor Laureano.
Okay, we will. You know what I realized? That we never. Why is that up there? Okay, we never put up sponsors. Number one, and then we never put up your fucking name, man. So So I will add this back if I can in post. But I'm sorry about that, man. Fucking there's always fucking something with this fucking StreamYard bullshit. The only reason I'm on it is to keep up with the fucking kids, right? Like fucking you think people want to see my fucking ugly ass face fucking every
I
week?
think I
No.
feel.
Yeah, it's hard. Yeah, like we're bringing you two ugly people right now, like two ugly men, like not even hot chicks. It's two ugly fucking men. But at least we're funny, so we bring something to the table,
I
right?
try to be.
So that's what I'm saying. Victor, fucking thank you so much for.
Oh man,
for
thank you for having me, man.
Dude, it was fun. Fucking, I definitely think, I definitely think you're gonna keep it up, and you're obviously, on our radar with the Zoom calls all the time. So I
Thank
hope
you.
to hear good shit from you, man. So,
Thank you,
I
man.
love you, brother, and thank you
Love you
fucking
too,
so much
brother.
for coming on. All right, brother, I'll talk to you later.
All right, man. Take care.
All right, bye bye.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Snakes in the Batman proudly brings to you its new breeder segment, 15 Minutes of Lame!
You know how it is. We read the MorphMarket ads here. MorphMarket provides services for the reptile industry that connect breeders and keepers across the world. You could buy and sell in the largest herp marketplace in the world. It has active listings from over 6,000 reptile, amphibian, and invertebrate breeders. Learn more about herp traits. You could learn more, man. Learn more about herp traits. The Morphpedia knowledge base contains 450 published and up-to-date articles about herp genes and localities. You could connect with other enthusiasts. We're not a gang, man. We're reptile enthusiasts. Right? Connect with other enthusiasts and the community forums. Thousands visit the forums each day to share skills, knowledge, and interests. Thousands, baby. I mean, we ain't small time here. This past month, MorphMarket redesigned the store page. This new design has a professional look that will take your web presence to the next level. In the next few days, MorphMarket will launch the initial version of its new Animal Manager, which makes it easier to manage both your for sale and not for sale animals. Additional features will include, but are not limited to, a dashboard to more easily monitor your animal data, and the ability to showcase not for sale breeding animals and holdbacks to the public and display the lineage between your animals. Check out the website to see a number of other improvements that they've initiated in this past month. Now, this guy is one of the biggest breeders and suppliers in the Northeast that you've never heard of. I don't know. You might have heard of him. I might be wrong about that. But either way, you guys already know what I think about Northeast breeders, right? I mean, the majority of them are just a bunch of shady fucks trying to produce world's first powerhouses on genes that you don't even fucking need or don't care about. However, this gentleman is an exception. Erick Markstaller is a fucking class act, and I became friends with him right away. I didn't even know that he lives less than an hour from me. I mean, I would have had him just come down here to the old Fat Cave and do the interview live, right? If you already know about this guy, then great. He's interesting as fuck. If you don't know about him, you are going to become a fan on this episode because the guy has a ton of stories to tell. He's been through the fucking ringer and back, and he's really just making a go out of it. Really, I think he's the biggest Raptor Chip distributor and supplier in the Northeast. I mean, he goes all the way down from New Hampshire and Vermont down to fucking Florida, man. I'm loving this guy's work ethic, and I love the fact that he's fucking 50 years old. Fucking my age. Finally, somebody my age. Fucking was great talking to Erick, man. I hope you guys have as much of a good time listening to it as I had recording it. Here's my one-on-one with Erick Markstaller of Exotic Designs Reptiles. What's up, everybody? I have Erick Markstaller here from Exotic Designs Reptiles. What's going on, Erick? How you doing, brother?
Nothing much, brother. I'm just living the dream, right? Going to work every day and getting to work with some cool animals and doing my thing.
That sounds like a horrible dream.
It is.
You are like a fucking one of the biggest guys that nobody's ever heard of, man. It's like you have a fairly substantial facility, right?
Yeah, I do. We just expanded. We're probably around 2,500 square feet now. I have some storage space that I run Northeast Raptor Chip out of, and then I have the other half that I do my animal stuff out of. But I've been in the business for a while. I've just taken some hiatuses every now and then due to some life happenings, but I'm back in. So a lot of people don't realize who I am currently, but I've actually been in the game since the mid '80s and '90s.
Yeah, fuck. How old are you?
I am 50.
Oh man, it's pretty fucking awesome to have somebody on that's older than me. All right, so that's actually pretty fucking cool, man. Now you're the Northeast distributor for Raptor Chip, right?
That is correct. Yeah, I handle the entire Northeast from pretty much Virginia to Maine.
Okay, Virginia to Maine. Okay, and well, every fucking show is getting canceled. How's that affecting you?
It's been a little challenging playing around this whole pandemic situation we have, but I try to make it available for everyone, and whether they know it or not, hopefully this will help. I have reps pretty much in every single state in the Northeast. So if they're finding that they're not seeing shows or they're not able to go out to their Rexpo or whatever they're normally going to, they can reach out to me and I can point them in the right direction for their area rep. I have 3 reps in New York. I have a rep in Maryland and Pennsylvania and Massachusetts and New Hampshire and Rhode Island. I have all of it covered. So if they're looking for Raptor Chip product, whether it be bag product, blocks, red line tools, easy hatch trays, I can set them up with whatever they need.
Gotcha. Okay. Now, do you sell through a website or no?
Yeah, I have my own website, exoticdesigns.com. I also have things on different Facebook forums for the Northeast Connecticut stuff. And I have pages on Facebook. I have a Northeast Raptor Chip page that they can sign on to. I have a Facebook, Exotic Designs page that you can also contact me through. There's a lot of ways that they can find product.
Okay. Well, I had seen recently you buy a lot of Raptor Chip at one time, right? Like I saw like a dozen pallets outside your place.
Yeah, the last order was a full container tractor trailer load. So we got about 22 pallets in.
Jesus Christ. Okay.
Yeah, so if they're worried about finding it or worrying about if it's in stock, it's in stock.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, I saw that picture. I was like, holy fuck. It's like, and I only saw about a dozen pallets. So I could imagine how much fucking Raptor Chip you have.
It's a lot. Yeah. So it takes up one side of my facility. I have about 1,000 square feet. That's nothing but Raptor Chip.
Jesus. Okay. And at your facility, are you mainly ball pythons?
I am. I do ball python work. I used to dabble with some other stuff, but I just found I used to do a lot of larger constrictor stuff and larger monitors, and I'm just getting old, man. I'm an old guy, and I don't be wrestling with a 15-foot snake, and it's a 50-foot retic that's not handleable. It's not pleasant to try to clean its cage. It's not pleasant to do anything with it.
Right. It takes all the fun out of it. Yeah.
Correct.
And you have pretty shit laws in Connecticut, right? Pretty much the same laws that we have here.
Yeah. It's any large constrictor, although they did just pass the berms back in. So we can have boas and berms, but no other large constrictors, no retics, no anacondas, no mean rocks.
Yeah, no rock pythons or anything like that, right?
No, none of that stuff.
Okay. So what's your number count at the facility as far as snakes go?
It varies, but I don't have this monster collection but I have definitely fine-tuned it down to quality, right? So I work with about 300 to 350 adult females. And then I have probably 50 or 60 higher end males that I breed with, which generates somewhere between 500 and 800 babies a year.
Okay, it's still a fuck ton of babies, right? So
it is. It's a lot of work for sure.
Yeah. And you're full time with this. You what did you do before this?
So I grew up as a ASA certified mechanic, and I went into building race cars for a living. I worked for a couple different race car companies. Mm-hmm. And then I got into CNC machining work, and then here we are. I've always dabbled with reptiles though through the years, so it's always been one of the things that I've been passionate about, and I kept in my back pocket for a long time.
When did you switch over, and when did you decide, all right, I'm going to do reptiles full time now, and I'm going to actually quit my job? And what did your family say about it?
Okay, well, I guess we'll rewind back when I really started getting into this. So in the late 90s, I actually went into business, and I actually started as an enclosure building company. I built custom enclosures, and I wasn't so much breeding the animals other than keeping them. And I had done a nice enclosure for the editor of Reptile magazine, mm-hmm. and he liked it so much he gave me like this half-page spread, and that's ultimately what killed that business, because I got so many replies about wanting a full color page catalog, and here's this guy just building them out of his garage. I had no idea what to do. So I actually shut that business down and went into the full-time animal business. At the time, I had a reptile store, and at that time, I met a guy named Michael Cole from Ballroom South. He's
down in Florida, right?
Yeah. He's probably one of the biggest pioneers of this and supporters of this business. He's on the board for a Florida USR. He does a lot for this business. And he actually was a good friend of mine. He helped me a lot over the years. And he's still my friend to this day. So I started a business, and then my mom started getting some health issues back. And this was in Florida. I had moved. So I moved back to Connecticut. And I went into the tree business for helping a friend of mine to make ends meet when I moved back. And I actually took a 65-foot fall. I shattered pretty much everything on my legs. I broke my back in 3 places. I shattered my arms and my ribs.
Wait, so a tree trimming business, was it?
Yeah, it was an arborist. I'm a licensed arborist too. So I was working for a tree company, and the saddle I was using that hooks you onto the tree failed when I was using my saw.
Oh God. Okay. Jesus Christ.
So that was the end of that, and I had to sell the collection. I obviously was on a body cast from my neck to my feet, and I sold the business then. And then not too long after, probably another 5 years, I got back into it. And then my son was diagnosed with brain cancer, and he went through 2 brain surgeries, and so I kind of liquefied the business again, and then recently, about 6 years ago, I started back up.
Okay. So, I mean, you're all the way back to the 90s. I mean, you're talking about you're building cages in the cages by design
Yeah,
uh
absolutely. Yeah,
age. Yeah, where you know, like people were going after these giant heavy
yeah.
melamine or wood.
They were melamine with mica. They were like entertainment centers. They were
Right,
heavy, man.
right, for a reptile. Yeah, I remember having that. And we were out in California, and that was when I got my first cages by design cage. And I remember like just arguing with my girlfriend, like fucking we're gonna pay $4,000 for a cage. Like, what are you out of your fucking mind? You know?
Yeah.
And but that, you know, that was the time it was. Now talk to me about your kid. How's your kid doing now?
He's okay. Two surgeries. Around like he went through 30 straight days of radiation.
Oof.
A pinpoint. They do this new whole helmet thing, and they pinpoint it where they want it to go. And I knock on wood, there's been no new growth. He goes for checkups every 6 months. And he's doing health wise, he's doing okay. You know, when you're 21 years old or 20 at the time when it come back, it kind of messes with you a little bit, you know, knowing that they're saying your outcome's not the greatest. So he has a little struggles with anxiety and stuff, but he's a great kid and he's strong. So he's doing well for his situation for sure.
Cool. And how old is he now?
He's 26.
26. Okay, good. So basically, he's not a kid anymore. He's an adult. So
Yeah, he's an adult.
fucking awesome. All right, cool. Now I'll be honest with you. You're literally in one state up from me,
Yeah.
and I never heard of you. Like you got to do better marketing, man. It's like fucking. We're friends on Facebook though.
Yes.
And you know, actually, JT was the guy that was like, "What the fuck do you mean you never heard of Erick Markstaller?" You know, and I was like, "Never heard of him." Yeah, you know. And did you do the White Plains shows and the Long Island shows down here?
I did. I've done a few of the White Plains shows. Bruce was kind enough to get me in to a couple of those shows, and I have done a Long Island show, and I used to do New Hampshire on a regular basis.
Right.
But when I spoke before about fine tuning the collection, I do cater to a little bit higher end animal, and I'm not saying that it doesn't sell at those shows. But you don't sell a lot of $8,000 animals at those shows.
Yeah, no, you could say it. Fucking Mike Plains. It's the worst show ever. I mean, fucking, it's like, it's like I understand Bruce is a nice guy, and Bruce helped us out a little bit when we first started, but they were not fun shows. I mean, they were like fucking. There's people that sell like toys there,
Yes,
and
like a flea market.
Right. It's like one step up from a Hamburg show, which is like a Tijuana fucking flea market, right? Where you could get like an alligator, and then you could get aluminum siding, and then you could get
yeah.
You know,
you can get a hoodie and a new pair of sneakers.
Right. It's like every Repticon show, right? So
yeah,
it's just it is what it is. Now, I heard that the White Plains show tried to go into somewhere in over the bridge in Rockland.
So yeah, so there's a new so there was a show that was trying to open up in like a mall, like
right at the Paramus Mall, right?
Yeah, and then they shot it down because of the permits.
Right. Okay.
So now apparently there's supposed to be another one somewhere in Poughkeepsie next month, but there once again I've heard that there's some red tape they've got to go through, but the Northeast has struggled really bad with shows up here.
Yeah,
You know, and that's another thing that which is good to kind of put out there that I'm here for the Northeast customers for as far as Raptor Chip goes, because that's one of our biggest thing is, you know, the shows, you get out to people, they get their supplies, and when White Plains was coming around, guys would buy 20 blocks at a clip because they knew it was going to last them to the next show.
Right. Well, I just passed the county center today, actually, and it, man, it's so. Even though I wasn't a big fan of the White Plains show, it is sad to just see this giant complex just shut down.
Right.
And there's fucking grass overgrowing in the parking lot now. I mean, they just took down those COVID stations that they put up,
Right.
and
Yeah.
I have no idea when it's going to open up. But I used to go to the White Plains show when it was just downstairs,
Yep.
and as it got bigger, it just seems to to I don't know. All the people in the fucking Northeast are like shady motherfuckers. They're like exactly what you would think of them. Like fucking shady fucking motherfuckers. Like all the way up from New Hampshire down to like Philly. They're just and I'm including myself in that fucking group. But
Yeah. Yeah.
they're exactly like you would think they would be if you heard about them, right? You're just like, yeah, all right, I'm not gonna do this. But I understand where you're going from because at the end, or at least at the end of my company that used to do White Plains, it was just really zoo people where
Yeah.
like we would joke around and be like, these people can't afford to take their family to the zoo, so they come to the reptile show instead, and they just look and they're all tire kickers and no, they don't buy anything. But
Yeah.
I could see where you would crush it with supplies.
Yeah.
Because that's a
Hands,
guaranteed sale.
yeah, hands down, the White Plains show. I mean, if and you're right. I'm going to agree with you that it's not my favorite show, but it is a little depressing to see this huge establishment that has nothing going on.
Right.
And one of the best things about that show is I used to like walk in the show just to watch the enthusiasm of people. They were excited to be there, whether they're buying stuff or not. But one of the biggest things that if you sat outside that show, it was endless people coming out with supplies. It was Raptor Chip or crickets or a new glass tank or whatever they're getting. But it was by the droves they would come out of that place.
Well, that's really the only show that I've been to locally that had a line outside it until 1:00, 1:30. I mean a fucking line. I mean, not just a couple of people waiting to get in. It was a line like down to the secondary parking lot. So I agree with that. But the quality of animals wasn't there, and that was about the time, right, in like 2010, 2007, where people weren't really spending the money on the shows like they used to in Daytona and in Tinley. Like people used to come to shows, even these local shit shows, with $10,000, and you would be able to sell $5,000 in a weekend, and that would be a good weekend, know. Whereas now, when I hear like from these 26-year-old kids who were doing breeding that made $5,000 in a weekend, and they're like, "Oh, it was slow." I'm not happy. I'm like, "What the fuck, you douche?" Like fucking. When did this is another thing, and listeners to this podcast know how fed up I am with this. Like, when did 26-year-old kids start having access to like 30 and 40 grand at a time to dump into collections?
Agreed.
Where when I was 26, there was no way.
Yeah, both.
Yeah, seriously, it's like fucking, and all these kids, like when I have them on like 15 minutes of lame, I'll be like, "How old are you?" And they're like 25, and I'm like, "How much money have you put into this?" And they're like, 35,000, and I'm like, that's like a fucking yearly paycheck for you. Like, what, how are you getting this fucking money? That must have been a meeting that I missed or something. Where
there's definitely I'm not included in that circle either. Trust me.
Yeah, it's just the worst, man. I have no idea how they do it. It's just fucking crazy. Now, I got to talk a little bit about ball pythons with you, so I apologize. But what's like the high end projects that you're working on, and like, is it comparable with like a Justin or a Miguel high end project, or is it more of like a a little bit lower than a $20,000 snake that you want to, produce next year?
I do have a few that I'm working on, and I'm hoping in the next year or two I can prove out some stuff. So back in like 2010, the Barkers from VPI produced a patternless. Are you familiar with this project?
Yeah.
Right. So they produced this patternless. They proved it out, and like the Barkers do a lot, they kind of just put it on the back shelf.
Right.
It just sits there. So a friend of mine ended up convincing Tracy to sell him all the non-visuals. So they're all like 66% or pos heads.
Right.
And he got this group of animals, and then he just sat on them, and he didn't do anything with them. So nobody was really producing any of these animals. And I was fortunate enough in 2000 and we're going to say 17, I purchased those animals from my friend. He was in the middle of buying a house and he wanted to downsize. And I think it was 2018, I produced the patternless ball python.
Okay.
And then since then, I've produced probably about 7 of them now. I've sold a few to fund the project. And so now I'm hoping in the next year or so, I will have proof that I can manipulate color and pattern. I would like to make a patternless super OD or a patternless xanthic, or what's a patternless banana look like.
Okay.
And that's a cool project that I've been in the works for quite a long time now.
All right. So I'm going to ask the obvious question. Who in the fuck is going to want a patternless ball python?
If I can make a screaming bright orange solid ball python, or a canary yellow solid ball python, or a slate gray solid ball python, or maybe something with swirls in it or different patches of color, no one knows how it's going to react.
Yeah, no, I guess you're really thinking outside the box here. How much would a patternless ball python go for?
The visuals that I have produced all went for around 10,000 each.
Okay, and they're so it's recessive.
Yeah,
obviously.
It's a recessive gene.
Okay.
Yep, the heads. I can do 100% heads for like $4,500, stuff like that.
Okay. And do you have pictures of these on your website?
I do. If you go on my website, or if you go on I have my Facebook page. I have pretty much pictures of everything I produce from my Xanthic Clown project. I'm pretty heavily invested in Xanthic Clown stuff. I do have some quad hets that I'm working with, some Desert Ghost, Clown Pied, Hypo stuff. And so I'm hoping to move that stuff forward this year. Hopefully I can hit on a few combos.
All right. So being that you brought it up, like Hypo, really? I mean, like fucking, isn't that the gene that they used to sell at White Plains at a discount because it just meant that people could get into a recessive project real cheap? So we would always joke around that like this was the gene that the poor people would buy so that they could talk to the rich people and say, "Oh yeah, I'm into recessive projects too."
You're 100% right, man. You're 100%. It's like, hey, listen, if you buy this snake, I'll throw this Hypo in for free.
Right.
It's this kind of deal.
That's what it was like. Yeah.
Yeah. And now if you look at some of the stuff, obviously like Ozzy and Miguel has produced with some of the Hypo stuff included, it's just amazing. The color and the shading and everything it brings out is just unbelievable.
Well, I constantly laugh when Miguel and Billy and Justin was like, they'd be talking in an interview and they'd be like, "Oh, I wonder what that would be like with Hypo in it." And I'm just like,
you're
great.
Like, who cares?
Yeah. Great. Okay. Yeah. Hypo. It fucking a gene that makes the snake look like it's always in shed. That's like dating a girl that looks like she's always on her fucking period. All right. It's like fucking, it's just like, I wonder about the Hypo people sometimes, Now, do you have any non-ball python, cold-blooded animals, like any lizards, anything smaller that you just keep as pets? You have no interest in breeding?
The only thing I do have, which I'm actually acquiring, I have everything set up for him, is I'm going to get a pair of leechies.
Oh, dude, so am I. Yeah, okay, cool.
Yeah, I love leechies. I love that whole dinosaur look to them. I love the size they get for being a gecko.
Right, right.
So I'm really intrigued by them. I just wanted to have a pair just to have as a pet at the shop.
Right, right. I'm excited to get a few here, and just for the noises that they make.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, I'm like, that's fucking cool, man. And what about at home? I see that do you got a girlfriend or a wife?
It's my girlfriend. I call her my wife.
Oh yeah, that's it. Yeah,
We've been together for a while, so it's just this thing.
Yeah, yeah, it's in dangerous territory, my friend. How long have you been together?
6 years.
Oh, that's a long time to be with one person. All right, I'm just saying.
She's actually my rock, man. She's like my best friend. We do everything together. We laugh together. There's not a day that goes by that we don't laugh and kid around. So
Stop. She's in
yeah,
the room, isn't
telling
she?
you. I get all mushy on you.
Yeah, she's in the room right now, huh?
No, she's actually upstairs.
All right. It's like, honey, he asked me about you, and I said I love you more than anything. Yeah, we know, right? Please excuse this brief interruption for a word from one of our sponsors. How fucking thrilled am I to have Focus Cubed Habitats joining the Snakes and the Fat Man family. They are literally the best display cages that I've ever owned. I was a fan of this husband and wife team of builders from when they were putting out these amazing pieces of fucking art from their garage. Stephen and Ashley have been keeping reptiles for years, and as experienced keepers, they understand how important your animals are in your life. Focus Cubed Habitats provide security and comfort for your animals while maintaining these insane, badass designs that everyone can appreciate. They give you the opportunity to make their home part of your home. You want options? They've got options. Every Focus Cubed Habitat is custom made to your specs, and you could choose from hundreds of options on their website. Too many options? Ashley and Steven have a huge selection of blog-style articles and complete accessory fact pages on their website to help educate consumers about add-ons that will best fit their individual needs. Listen, at the end of the day, these fucking cages are showpieces. Every cage that Focus builds will be the centerpiece of your reptile room. Hell, they could be the centerpiece of your fucking living room. If you have reptiles that you want to display, look no further than Focus Cubed Habitats. You can follow them on Instagram, Facebook, and even fucking TikTok. Or just go old school and go right to FocusCubedHabitats.com and tell them that the Fat Man told you to drop them a line. And what does Erick do for fun? Like when he's not doing fucking 12 hours a day of fucking bullshit snake work at a facility?
So what I like to do a lot is I do tournament bass fishing. I do
like Ralph Davis does, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. King Dave there. We do a lot of bass fishing. I try to get in as many tournaments as I can without crushing every weekend of the summer.
Right.
You know, so I'm not in a situation where I'm like, yeah, I'm single now. You know what I mean? So
right.
I try to space them out, and I try to make it so I have enough time with the wife and the family and everything else, but enough time to put in to be competitive in the sport.
Okay. And on this boat, when you're doing the fishing, is there a bathroom on the boat?
No. No, you got to be like a camel, man.
Holy shit, no way. Okay. And how far are you from New York?
I can trip and slide down the road over the New York border. Technically I'm in Danbury, which is
15
minutes from the New York border.
Right. So you're about 45 minutes from me.
Yeah, we're not far at all.
I should have just had you come here to fucking do this.
I could have made a drive.
Yeah, well, no, we'll do that fucking next time. For some reason, I thought you were further up.
No, I'm in actually where I am in Connecticut. I'm in a pretty cool spot because pretty much in about within 2 hours, I could be in 4 different states.
Right.
Right. I mean, I could be in Jersey, I could be in New York, I could be in New Hampshire, Massachusetts. I could be anywhere I want, in this
Right.
general area, all within a couple hours.
Yeah, that's and you tend to travel like all the way down to Virginia for these shows?
Yeah, actually, the shows I kind of like structured my show schedule to the NARBC shows in Daytona. So I'll do I'm doing the Arlington show next month,
Oh, okay.
um,
All right.
and then I'll be out Tinley for March,
Mhm.
and then over like the middle of summer I'll be in Schaumburg, Illinois, and then I'll hit Daytona, and then I'll do the circuit again because in the fall time the same shows come back around.
Right. Okay. And have you been to the Battlefield one?
I have actually Battlefield. Unfortunately, this year it is falling on the same dates as Tinley. So
Okay.
since that's a much bigger show for me, I'll go to that show, obviously. But Battlefield's a great show. That pulls a lot of people. There's some good vendors there, and if you're looking for a show that has quality, vendors and animals, Battlefield's a great show.
Yeah, I'm definitely thinking about going down to the next one, or maybe not the next one, but sometime this year. Um, you do some show me shows also, right?
Yeah, I did the New Hampshire show this past the last one they had, the first one they had there. It was a 2-day show. It was a pretty good turnout for being a very first show there.
Right.
And I'm looking if I have time. There's a couple a little bit south that I might try to hit, but we'll see how the schedule goes. I have to see what the Bass schedule hasn't come out yet, so I'm not sure if I have a tournament that weekend.
Gotcha. Okay. The one up north was run by Corey, right? Well, Mickey and Corey.
Yeah, Mickey put it on. Corey helped kind of like organize it.
Right. Okay.
Yep.
And then you go all the way down to Virginia. That's for a local show, but then you go to Daytona. So you do that drive to Daytona,
I fly actually.
right? There you go.
So I have a large freight container, and that has all my show supplies, my backdrop, my displays. That gets on a freight truck, and it freights right to the convention center.
Oh, nice.
So
Okay.
I'll hook on to a Delta flight, and since I'm a certified cargo shipper, I go to the cargo center. The snakes get checked in, and they go under the plane in the cargo area in a regular certified box, just like if you're going to ship it.
Right.
And then when I land, I go to the cargo center. I pick up the snakes, so they're only in the plane for a couple hours. I go to the hotel. When I get to the convention center, my container is waiting at my booth.
Jesus Christ. Okay. Oh, you're a fucking hotshot now, huh? I mean, you're like this is really working for you. You're one of the few people like making money at this.
I don't know if it's making money or if I'm just old and I don't want to deal with the drive and the setup stuff.
Oh yeah, yeah. When we would do shows at Tinley, we would ship those fucking things there and just fly into it. It's like, you
Yeah.
know, I'm not gonna be driving 15 hours at 38 years old. You know,
Nope.
like fucking.
I did when I first got back into this. I drove to all the shows. I was driving to Tinley. I was driving all that stuff. And what did it was, I drove to Tinley. It was probably a year and a half, 2 years ago, and I had lugged everything up there. I asked a buddy of mine to help me out with the show. We pull into the convention center. I check into the room. We get all of our stuff lugged up there, and they said all the shows canceled due to COVID.
Yep.
I was like, motherfucker, dude, we gotta get back in the truck the next day and drive back home. And after that, I'm like, I'm never driving out to another show.
Yeah, I remember when that happened, and I remember people like one Facebook post would be like, "Pulling into Tinley, woohoo, can't wait." Next to Facebook post, 10 minutes later is like, "Heading home from Tinley, fuck,
Yeah.
this sucks." Right? Just but you know, none of that was actually any of the organizers' faults. You know, like
Yeah, it was last minute. Like I think they had an idea, but they still thought they could pull it off, right?
Right.
And then because we noticed if you go to the convention center, there was stuff set up, but not the normal stuff you would see. Because I think they were waiting to see what the town was going to do, and then at the last minute, the town's like, "Listen, it's not going to happen."
Well, and then didn't the hotel there or the convention center what was a COVID testing site for the next year and a half, right?
It was, yeah, it was
Yeah.
a COVID testing site, and it was kind of the same as Westchester. So Westchester was a COVID overflow
Right.
center. So those, like, the same thing, like you couldn't use it for anything.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's just, I mean, I remember when they did it to the Javits Center here in New York.
Yeah.
And I was like, I am never going to the Javits Center again. And just in case any lingering COVID is around there, that, the
Right.
last thing I'm going to do, I'm not going to go to any toy shows, any fucking Comic Cons. I'll stay home and do it online.
Absolutely. Like, who wants to go to the Javits Center, right, and possibly get COVID, but at the same time, when you're waiting outside, you have a homeless guy that turns around and you pisses on your shoe. You know,
That's what I'm saying. Like
Yeah.
New York is the worst place on the planet. Okay, it's just such a shithole, and we only have like 11 good days a year here, right?
Yeah.
Like the rest of the time it's either too hot or too fucking cold or too muggy or too and the people here are just fucking cunts, right? I mean, it's like nobody's happy here. Everybody's
can be
looking
harsh.
down and fucking walking forward. It's just the worst, man.
Yeah, it's tough. You know what? I'll never forget. I was going to an event at the Javits Center. It was a motorcycle show, and we're going over. And I go, oh, like, I know a place over here. When I used to do the boat show at this Javits Center, there's a parking lot over here. It was like $67 for the day to park your car. I'm like, fuck, dude. I was like, I'm gonna drive my car into Javits Center.
Yeah, it's just I remember like thinking like it's as bad as LA now. Like I used to go to the Staples Center. Like I saw Ozzy at the Staples Center, and it was like $170 to park. And I was like, this is a little bit like ridiculous, don't you think? And when I went to one of the Comic Cons, it was like $120 to park. And I was like, what is going on here? This is just, New York has those prices that are just not worth New York prices. I do know that when I tell people in like Texas how much I pay for rent, they think I'm rich. They're like,
Absolutely.
oh, Chris got it like that. And I'm like, no, Chris doesn't got it like that. Fucking it's so I can't wait to move to Texas, get rid of this stupid accent again. Because I was in LA for 12 years and I lost the accent. And then when I came back, I was like, fuck, I know I'm going to get this dumb accent back. Like, this is just the worst accent in the world, right? So it's just like fucking, it's like, I can't even talk about anything intelligent because I sound like a fucking retard, right?
No, it's not bad. I have some friends straight from the Bronx, man. You have to almost ask them 3 times what they're saying.
Dude, I was born and raised in the Bronx, man.
Yeah, but I don't hear it. I don't hear it from you.
Well, thank you. You're very kind. Now, do you travel a lot other than, for the snake things? Like what does Eric do for a vacation? Besides, no, let me clarify that. What do you do for a vacation with the wife or with the girlfriend?
So we like to take a trip on the bike. I got a nice Street Glide Harley. And we'll pack it up with some clothes that'll fit in the saddlebags, and we join some friends. And we go for a weekend ride through the mountains of Vermont, and New Hampshire, stuff like that. We love to do stuff like that. Or we'll plan a trip to, like, all of us will go to like Costa Rica, and hang out over there. But riding a bike during the summer is a great getaway for us.
You have leather saddlebags, or do you have the fucking hard plastic ones?
I have hard plastic, yeah.
Oh, that's so dad. It's so old man. That's not Sons of Anarchy, man. All right.
It's greatly camouflaged though. I got it raked. It's stretched a little bit. It's got a 21-inch wheel on the back. It's got a stretched Arlen-Ness rear fender, and it's widened. It's got a mural airbrush. It's all acrylic. I mean, it's cool looking. Gotcha.
Okay. All right. You get a pass.
Yeah.
Now, how is it working with JT from fucking the Chip?
JT is a phenomenal person to work with. Not only is he a phenomenal person to begin with, but there's been many nights I'm like, hey, listen, I'm trying to put this together, or I'm trying to do this, and I'm trying to get another rep. What do you think? I bounce ideas off of him all the time, and he is definitely one of these guys that will always take the time out to talk to you. He'll call me and, hey, listen, I thought about, I was busy, but I thought about what you said. Let's sit down, let's talk this through, and let's figure out what the best case scenario is that's good for the business for you.
Yeah, he's one
He's
of
a
the
good
top
dude.
guys. Yeah, I think so. I mean, he's such a. I mean, I've been friends with him for years. He came on as one of the first people to support the show, and I'll call up JT, and we'll end up being on the phone for 3 fucking hours,
Yeah.
and and you don't even know it, because it's like he's in the room with you, So, look, I'm not here to fucking blow JT. I'm just saying that that's the kind of guy that he is. Um, and I went down to his shop in San Antonio, and man, it's a functioning fucking like real shop. I'm so
Yeah.
glad how he rebuilt after the fire. He's doing pretty good right now, and he's doing it right. So,
Absolutely. It's phenomenal on what he has set up over there.
yeah, it's unbelievable. And if you need a job, Raptor Chip is hiring right now. If you're in San Antonio and you could lift over 50 pounds
50
and not
pounds.
be a
That's it.
cunt,
Yeah.
so
And you can't be I think the qualification was you couldn't be a turd.
right, a turd. Yeah, sorry.
Turd.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just a different, different word for cunt. Um, Now, besides this patternless thing, I'm bringing it back to ball pythons just because I know that some people are going to want to talk about it. You said you're into the Xantha clowns, right?
I am. Yeah.
Now that's
No.
kind of caught on in the last year or two, like I never thought it would catch on, right? So, were you doing it for a while, or did you just kind of hop on the bandwagon recently?
No, I actually started producing Xanthic clowns probably, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago. I was producing visuals, and like everything else, I shot myself in the foot because I produced some pretty cool combo males, and I was like, I don't need my breeder male anymore, so I sold them off to a friend of mine, and of course those males didn't feed like I want them to. They're good now, but they sent me back a year
Right.
because I didn't have a visual male now to breed because I didn't get large enough. But hopefully this year I have some pretty killer combos coming out, stuff that I think is going to open up that market even a little more.
Now, what's your kind of ratio between selling supplies and selling snakes? Is it more supplies than snakes, dollar wise, or is it more snakes than supplies?
I would have to think it's probably 50-50.
Really?
Yeah, like it comes in waves. Like there's like now, like I'm not selling any animals now. It's winter time out. It's like 2 degrees out.
Right.
I'm not shipping anything. And if I do sell an animal, I'm sitting on it for the next 3 months.
Right.
But Raptor Chip goes. Like I sold a couple pallets not too long ago. People came by, and again, I'm not too far away, so they drove down. One guy came from New Hampshire, another guy came from Mass. They picked up their pallets and were on their way. So during the slower times, I still sell product, and I think that's what evens out the ratio.
Gotcha. Is your shop open to the public, or is it just by appointment only?
It's by appointment. I kind of keep it private because the state of Connecticut is pretty tough. Like if you have open to the public, then it's a whole nother slew of restrictions and permits and everything else, and different insurance recommendations, requirements. So it's a private facility. It's just me and my employees. And then if you want to come in by appointment, then I'm more than happy. I never turn anybody away.
Gotcha. And how many employees do you have?
It's pretty much just 3. It would be myself. I have a girl that works almost full time cleaning, and then my son helps out at the shop doing miscellaneous stuff for me.
Gotcha. Okay. And what's the 5-year plan? Is it to be like a Justin, or is it to be like a what's that other supply company, Pangea or something like that? What's the 5-year plan for Exotic Designs Reptiles?
I would have to think, and just build the business where I would love to spend a little bit more time doing some different things. So I'd love to get to the point. I'm not necessarily trying to be um, super huge or trying to be like a certain person or their goals. My goal is if I can have an operating business and have someone take the brunt of it for me so I can go out and do a little more things and take a little more vacations or things that I would like to do in life. And now that I'm, especially with my injuries, you kind of think about what I'm going to be able to do in 10 years or so. So I'd like to try to free up some more time, and hopefully the business will allow me to do that and spend more time with, with the wife and the kids and doing things that I want to do. That's where I see myself. I'm not a greedy guy. I like to be comfortable.
Right. No, I gotcha. And what was the best piece of advice that anybody ever gave you in this business?
I would have to be Michael Cole. We were sitting there, and this is when times are really young. There was 20% of what is available was even cut that in half, and that's what we had. Right, we had albinos, some pieds, and some exanthics. That's all you had back then.
Right.
And if you saw something cool like this cool looking animal, and you wanted to, I'm going to sell these off and get that, and he's like, listen, you got to make a plan. If you're ever starting this business, you make a plan, you figure out what you want to do, and you stay with it. You don't bounce around. He goes, because once you start selling something to get this, you're going to keep doing that because the next thing is going to come along. He goes, if you stay with your project, you work your project, then the offspring from that project will fund anything else you want to do, and you still have your initial investment that'll keep making you money. And that's, if I can give you any advice, that's the best advice I ever got, because I've seen it happen too many times where people, they're chasing, they chase and they chase.
Yeah.
Justin will come out with this combo, and then everything on the planet that relates to red stripe is through the roof, and everybody's chasing that in that combo, where if you just work what you have going and you produce that, you're not going to get rich, but you can create funds that'll help move you along to the next one.
Oh yeah, well, without a doubt. The people that chase are always the people that are only that quit after 4 years.
You're the one usually complaining too.
yeah, always bitching. I mean, what do you think the best thing about the industry right now is, and what do you think the worst thing about the industry is?
The best thing about the industry is, I'd have to say, is the people in it. If you go, great example. So I was doing that show me snakes right in Rhode Island, and I was just coming back from Tinley, and lo and behold, the freight company lost my freight. So I had no backdrop, I had no displays, no lights, no nothing. So I call up a few people. I call up Matt Lee and Nice Balls over there in Long Island, and a few other people. And I actually did the entire show. I still had my animals because they flew with me, but I did the entire show on borrowed equipment. Like, everybody came together and they got me what I needed to do the show. And that's just how the people are in this industry. And that's probably the best thing I would have to say about this whole industry and hobby that we're in.
And the worst thing?
The same. You have the people out there that everybody thinks everybody is just so giving and kind, and for the most part they are. And then you hear these stories like, oh my God, I can't believe it, I spent $5,000 on this snake and it's a normal. I bought it as this quad het, and people are scamming you left and right, and that sucks, man, because people work hard. At least I do. I work hard for my money, and I don't like to give it away to anything.
Right. Yeah. No. I get it, man. And there's also, like these bullshit people that are just, like, hey, I got, this snake is a powerhouse.
Yeah.
Like, I was talking to Warren Booth about that the other day. And if you have a snake that's spider, pinstripe, pastel, and lesser, you have a 4-gene snake, no doubt. Okay. Yeah. But it is not a powerhouse, okay?
No.
These are the jerk-offs that are spending $500 that think they're going to make, $100,000 in the first year. And those are the people that I can't stand. and I also can't stand the. I've been doing it for 3 months, so I should start a YouTube show and tell everybody about how I do it because I'm breaking new ground. And you're like, no, you're not breaking new ground, you fucking cunt. You've been doing this for 3 months. So that's part of it that I can't stand either.
And I get it, right? So not everybody has a ton of money. If you can only afford a pastel lesser spider or whatever, then that's fine. But don't make it out to more than it is. Respect that fact that this is what you can afford, this is what you have, and this is what you work with. Don't come out and say that you bought this powerhouse male and you're gonna buy a facility next year with the babies you're gonna make off of it and you're gonna be on top of the world, because that's just not gonna happen either.
Well, not only that, I think that people just have to stop making shit snakes, right? Like, like how many frozen pastel males, were introduced to the freezer this year? Because that's what people have. Because even the wholesalers aren't going to buy all of them. Okay,
Right.
so I think that I think the nice thing now is that because there are so many ball pythons in the country, I think that we're probably seeing some kind of mutations that are happening homegrown.
Yeah.
So people don't have to spend $20,000 from something from Africa anymore. Because
Yeah, correct.
it's actually happening here. You know, but I also think at the same time there's so many snakes here, and like how many ball pythons are just dying every year because they're useless? Like fucking the majority of people that buy ball pythons are breeders, right? They're not people buying them for pets.
Correct.
So
There is a mix, but there are definitely more people breeding them than
right,
the
right.
hobbyists just taking them. You're correct.
Yeah. So I just think a lot of it is, it's reaching some kind of inflection point where if if you have one or two gene babies, they're not going to sell. So either you're stuck keeping them or you're going to freeze them. That's just what's happening. And I think that that part of it has to stop. But that also would mean that people would have to up their game a little bit and spend a little bit more money,
Absolutely.
on
Yeah.
the better stuff. And I don't
I've
see that
been
happening either.
No, I don't either. But I have been very lucky. I don't really have any 2 and 3 gene animals. Most of the stuff that I have is it's more than that. But even my 2 and 3 gene animals, I wholesale off, and I've been very lucky. I've never been stuck with animals that I couldn't get rid of.
Mm.
But I had a friend of mine that was just starting, and he's like, in effect, there was two. There was A and B, right? So one friend goes over, he goes, "Listen, I'm going to buy this collection. This guy's selling. He's got 30 snakes. It's going to start me off great." And my other buddy's like, "Listen, I don't want to have 100 snakes, but I want to invest into something that's decent." So, and I told the other guy the same thing. I said, save your money, buy some snakes that have a couple different recessive genes, maybe a male, and then some double het females or triple het females or whatever you can find. And he didn't want to do that. He thought quantity was the way to go. Right. And my other buddy took the advice, and he ended up dumping some good money on like a handful of animals. And after a few years went by, this guy was flooded with animals, and he couldn't give them away. He was feeding these things. He was going broke. And the other friend produced some beautiful animals, and they sold right away, and he made all of his money back. So I mean, you just got to go about it smart. That's all.
Yeah, if you do this right, you can make an extra 50 to 100 grand a year with half an ARS rack.
You could. Yeah, you could. But you're going to have to dump some cash.
But you're going to exactly. Yeah, right. You can't really just buy normals anymore. Like remember when normal females were going for like $300 to $500 a pop.
Yeah, because everybody wanted to prove out these males, and they needed a normal female without another gene in them. Yeah,
right, exactly. Right. So, but I don't think we're in those days right now, especially the more high end people, because I think that the high end people keep this business afloat. Like the top 20%, 10%.
I would agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah, keep it afloat. The 80% is white trash and fucking just people that are trying to make a lot of money really quickly, and they'll be like I love seeing these women on Facebook. It's not all women, but it's a lot of women that are going to change the industry. With their snakes, and then a year later they're like, I think I'm getting out of ball pythons. Life has really just been hitting me the wrong way, and you're like, dude, I knew you were gonna not be in this in a year when you told me that you were doing this shit full time.
Yeah,
So. There's so much of that in this industry, and I feel bad for them because I think that the people some of the people that start out are really serious, and they want to they want to make a business out of it, but they just do everything wrong.
yeah, yeah. And I wouldn't classify, trying to say that it's more women than men or more men than women. I've seen a pretty much an equal spread where this guy's coming out and he's got whatever Joe Schmo Exotics, and he's like, oh, I got all this stuff going on, and I'm gotten big things, and he acquires like 50 animals. This is gonna be my long-term job, and like the next spring, he's like, no, I had to get out of it because XYZ,
Right.
And it's just it happens all the time, and that actually hurts the industry a ton, right?
Yeah,
so
100%, yeah.
Yeah, and it's just, and I don't kind of understand it because I always brought up where like if you're gonna do something, you're finishing, even if you don't like it. If I ever signed up and I wanted to play, we're going to say football, right? And I said halfway through, I'm like, it's not for me. My dad's like, I don't care if it's for you or not. You're finishing the season.
Yeah,
that's what you wanted to do.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So, and I believe that's too many people give up too quick, man. I mean,
that's because you're in the everyone gets a trophy stage of human development, right? Like when we were growing up, your father would be like, dude, fuck you. You are going every day.
Yeah.
And you are, if you had to run 4 miles, for warm up for football practice, my father would be like, get there early and run 8 miles now, you dick.
Right. Right.
It was like a tough love situation. Whereas, if that was to happen today, I could be all woke and fucking call CPS on my father, right?
Yeah.
And they would arrest him, and I'd be able to quit football, So
absolutely, or like I can't believe little Jimmy didn't make the team. Well, he sucked.
Yeah,
right. He wasn't good enough. He didn't make the team, and he's not good enough. But no, everybody makes a team, and everybody gets a trophy, like you said. And it's just I don't agree with it.
Yeah. Yeah, well, little Timmy is running around with his helmet on backwards. You fucking idiot! So no, he's not going to make the team.
Yeah, he's chasing parked cars, and you're wondering,
right. Yeah, I mean, people just fucking suck. All right, so Eric, where could people get in touch with you? Like, what do they have to do to get in touch with you? Do you have an Instagram?
I do, and it's just my business name is Exotic Designs Reptiles on my Instagram. Okay. Same thing with Facebook. It's the Exotic Designs Reptiles on my page. They can go to Northeast Raptor Chip. That's also my page, or they can go to exoticdesignsreptiles.com.
Beautiful. And everybody could just get in touch with you that way, right?
Absolutely. All the links, either for email, private messaging, anything's on there. I can always get it.
Awesome. Okay. Eric, fucking thank you. It's so nice to talk to somebody my age that gets it. All right. So I fucking loved having you on, man. I appreciate you taking the time to kind of just hang out with me and shoot the shit. And hopefully, this will put you in front of a couple of people that will fucking go to Exotic Designs Reptiles and go for Raptor Chip and go, and even though we really don't have shows here because that Poughkeepsie show is going to be shit. I've been to that Poughkeepsie show before. So, just, call up Eric and you could go to him for Raptor Chip or go to him for a fucking snake or go to him for a red line fucking poop scooper. which is
Chris,
just all the rage these days, you know.
absolutely, man. And it's been a pleasure. I greatly appreciate you having me on, and it's always a great time here. I always listen into your show, so it's always a good time.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it, and I will talk to you soon. Okay.
All right, brother. Take care.
All right, fucking Erick Markstaller from Exotic Designs Reptiles. Here at Snakes and the Fat Man, we're huge supporters of diversity. We're proving that point here by having our first ever boa breeder as a sponsor on the show. Boa Affliction has been around since 2010, and when they saw the VPI T-positive gene, they immediately shifted their focus and decided to make not just visually stunning albino boas, but they quickly realized that the T-positive snows and sunglows really stood apart from the T-negative albinos that were available at the time. This original VPI gene has maintained its place in the market for the last 10 years and shows no sign of slowing down. Here's the thing. When you invest into your 401k, a 401k for all you ball python people is a fund that you invest in for your retirement. But when you invest in a 401k, you just don't invest in Walmart. You invest in Amazon, Verizon, Bitcoin, blah, blah, blah. That's all we're trying to say here. 100% of your collection doesn't have to be ball pythons. Throw a few boas in there and be part of a different type of cool crowd. And when you do that, invest with Kenny over at Boa Affliction. Great, no bullshit guy with an awesome website. And how in the fuck am I gonna say no to a guy who uses this chick in his promo picture? Can't do it. Can't do it. I tried everything. Go check out Kenny today at boaaffliction.com. Sticking with my supporting of diversity, I actually hired a millennial to handle all of my social media, but I had to fire him because he didn't show up for work. So I'm just going to leave this picture up here for a little while longer. So you can actually hear a little bit more of me and Eric on a new segment on the Patreon channel called It Doesn't Matter, where we basically list our top 3 things of shit that doesn't matter and then argue about it. So if you're in the Northeast and you need any type of Raptor Chip product, any type of Redline Science product, or fucking ball pythons, check him out at Exotic Designs Reptiles. I'm actually going to go out to his facility in a couple of weeks and I'll report back to you from that. Anyway, guys, thanks for sticking around. I appreciate all the support that you guys always give. And we put out podcasts on the 1st and the 15th of every month. And the open Zoom call for reptile keepers, the next one is going to take place on February 13th, I believe. And the last one that we did, I am proud to say that we have the most diverse group of people in the reptile hobby joining that fucking Zoom call, man. All right? It's like the black and white cookie in Seinfeld. That's all I'm saying. With maybe a little bit Puerto Rican and Asian thrown in there too. So it's a black and white Puerto Rican Asian cookie. That's how diverse I am. That's how woke I am, bitches. Anyway, if you don't have the link, DM me and I'll get it out right to you. And finally, of course, if you're in a position to help the channel grow, you could join us on Patreon for as little as $5 a month at patreon.com/snakesandthefatman. Thank you guys, and I'll see you in 2 weeks. Everyone talks their own shit about what kind of racks you should buy. Metal racks are great, but everyone doesn't want a goddamn 7-foot high, 6-foot wide, 2,000-pound metal rack in their fucking house. That's a 2-refrigerator footprint, man. 2 fucking refrigerators. Serpents makes insane quality racks that could fit anywhere. They're stackable PVC racks that are living room friendly, and they're shipped fully assembled with heat tape already installed. Just plug it into a thermostat and you're ready to go. When we had the shop, we had over 20 Sea Serpent racks there before they ever became a sponsor of Snakes and the Fat Man. I don't breed much anymore these days, but I still have a few racks here in my house, and you could be goddamn sure that they're sea serpents. Oh, and they also make hotbox incubators, probably the best reptile incubators made in America. At the height of our breeding business, we had 4-foot hotbox incubators, and again, I still have a small hotbox incubator here in case anything I keep actually does breed. Go to seaserpents.com and check out their incredible selection of PVC racks, and tell Chris Nettles that the Fat Man sent you.